Okay, I think you guys just saw like an awesome game. I mean, 32 minutes back and forth. We started off slow in that first quarter, but tremendous heart from this team. I appreciate the seniors, and I think they just left everything on the line today. Great game by them. They had 7 threes, 3 of them that were banked in, so the bank was open for Jerry today. But I love the way our team battled down, and they kept fighting back. So I'm very impressed with the way the game was played by both teams.
Coach, you were hanging with them. After 7-6, you couldn't quite get over the hump and get the lead. What made it tough to just get over that hump for you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, they have great players, right? I mean, they were here last year. They had 4 returning starters. I mean, they had that little bit of an edge. I think Wagner had a great game today. I mean, she was unstoppable there for a while. Suri always plays great. But I just think, them hitting all those threes was probably the game. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to make that many threes. I thought their defense, today on, Avery was fantastic. They were, double teaming her the whole game. But, we had some really, Miley had hit 3 threes for us today, which was fantastic. I think going into today's game, Miley had 1 or 2 all year. So, I mean, we told our other players that they were going to be double teaming our 2 post players. And so we said that people need to step up and hit some baskets. Autumn Turner had some big baskets for us today, too. But their defense was more aggressive this year than it was last year.
For you and then even for a couple of girls like Victoria, maybe and Avery too, to get here and win this thing is so, it's hard. What is your sense of that? Of like, you won last year, you're supposed to, everybody thinks you're going to come back and do that again, right? I mean, let's talk about how hard that is, and it's not as easy as maybe people think it is. Is that your sense at all?
Well, it is. I mean, last year was a great year. We had 7 seniors on that team, 4 that played a lot. So we were missing 4 huge holes going into the season. But people stepped it up. Miley did a great job this year. Autumn Turner did a good job. Izzy Meyer off the bench. Ariel Heitkamp. There's so many girls that played well, and going throughout the season, we play a tough schedule. That's our goal every year. To be the best, you have to play the best, and so I felt like our record, going into today's game was good. I thought we played great competition going through. Today, we just couldn't get that one lucky bounce, on a rebound, on a shot. These girls had to just fight and claw for everything today, and I know that we were behind the whole game. I don't know if we ever led, but you're down 7, you're down 8. These girls could have just put their tails between their legs and gave up, but they never did. They just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. We got down to within 1 there in the last minute and a half. So I mean, I know they're not happy, these players sitting next to me, but I'm so proud of them. I mean, the back-to-back thing is hard, right? Especially when you're playing the same team. Waterford wanted to win. Jerry's a friend of mine. And I'm happy for him. I am. But this was a great basketball game, and I think one day these girls will look back and cherish this game. Their grit was there, their determination, their perseverance was there, so they really don't have anything to hang their heads about.
How Avery, as far as that whole thing about, and this is pretty hard to do. What was your confidence in this team and all along?
Well, I always knew that we could do it, but it's hard to beat a team that's out for the bench, really. Like we said, they had a lot of returning players. Missing our starting point guard, but that's no excuse. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but that was a challenge and an obstacle we had to overcome. And it's still a lot to be proud of. Our community will support us no matter what the outcome of this game would have been, and they were there for us. But yeah, it's still something to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really focus on the fact that we won last year. We knew that we won last year, and that was just a different team. So coming in this year, we weren't even worried about that. So yeah, there was pressure, and we felt like people were maybe putting the pressure on us, but I don't feel like we felt affected by it because we knew this was a different team. So I thought we were just focused on this year and that we didn't really think about how we won state last year.
More questions? Sir.
Watching you guys this season, the defense has been your bread and butter, especially your press. Even throughout the tournament, you've been overwhelming teams with the press. Tonight, they weren't overwhelmed by it. They cut through it a couple times. Did that, not being able to overwhelm a team on the defensive end like that, how did that change the game plan?
Well, yeah, I mean, they had a 6'4" girl that they kept outletting to, and then we knew that was going to happen. We were just hoping that we would sneak a steal here and there before it got to her. You know, we went to our 22, and the first time we got to 22, we forced a turnover, they threw it out of bounds. So I felt like, you know, we could do it here and there, and I knew we would be able to do it the whole game because it's hard to defend a 6'4" girl. And as you know, because you watch her, you follow a lot of our games, getting steals is our transition for offense. And so we really didn't get into that as much today as what we're used to. I mean, if you would have told me before the game that we were going to score 46 points today, I would have said that we were going to win the game. I know it was two defensive teams going at it, so if, you know, I think last year, what was the score? 42 to 29. I mean, so if you would have said, hey, you're going to score 46 points today on Waterford, I'd be like, well, that's a pretty good number. I think we're going to win the game, you know. Just it's unfortunate that, you know, I think they hit 7 3-pointers. You know, I don't know how many they average a game. That's probably more than the average, I would say. So.
Victoria, you were able to have some offensive success, especially in the third and fourth quarters. What was able to change for you, and what were you kind of exploiting to get those buckets down low, especially over that height?
Yeah. I mean, we knew obviously she was a lot taller than me, so I couldn't just go straight at her. I'd use my pivots and use the pump fakes to hopefully get her off of her feet, and I feel like I did that successfully sometimes. Yeah, I just knew that she's a shot blocker, so we had to figure out other ways to work around it.
Going off of that, dealing with the size, Avery, you had 12 boards today. You led most in the game. What was working for you getting those boards, dealing with the size that you had to deal with?
Heart.
Yeah, my offensive side of the game really wasn't there, but basketball is a two-way game, so if you just put the work in and hard work and rebounding has a little bit of luck to it sometimes. But so I just worked hard and left it all out on the court.
Yeah, 12 rebounds, 4 steals. I mean, that's Avery. I mean, she does so much on the defensive end, and everybody always talks about her on the offensive end. But she is a great offensive player, but you know, defensively, she does a lot for us too. So.
Miley, how would you characterize what Avery and Victoria did for this team to lead you guys as the 2 starters back, and the star players, right? And how did they help you guys, the rest of you, come along for this team to get to this stage?
Well, obviously, I think that since they've been starting on varsity for more than everybody else on the team has, they've played varsity all 4 years. I think that their leadership is awesome, and that they lead the other players to push every day in practice and the games. They're always telling us what we need to do better, like how we need to step up our game, I would say. And they're just always there and supporting us. And